We talked a bit about last episode. We talked about the precessional cycle of the great year, which is 25,920 years, and how the Earth has an hourglass like motion that it goes through. We have the motion where it spins on its axis for our days. It goes around the sun for our years, and then it has that wobble that you're talking about. And this image illustrates that wobble. As you see the two circles right here, the Earth wobbles like in an hourglass motion along along that these two circles you see above and below the Earth right there. And these symbols you see on the outer edge are the zodiac sign, which if you were an ancient culture trying to track um, the motion of the Earth with the limited tools you had available to you, it would be kind of difficult to take into account that wobble, but somehow they did.
Somehow.
Somehow. And just another image kind of showing off how the Earth proceeds through the great year and what you would see in the sky in the heavens as you looked above in different areas of the Earth as it went through this cycle.
Mm-hmm. Those
Um,
white bars. Those white bars right there. Is that the vernal equinox?
yes,
Yeah.
white bar is the vernal equinox. And then we talked a lot about the great year last episode. This is that representation of the precessional cycle or the great year.
Yeah, we're at the
Uh,
bottom
we're
left.
we're right here, right now,
Yeah.
and we're going into the age of Aquarius.
We're at the end of the whole great year, man. We're at the end
Yeah,
of it.
you're at the end of it. This shows the different seasons of the great year. So you have the fall equinox, the summer solstice, the spring equinox, and the winter solstice. So yeah, I guess we were kind of in the winter portion, right?
Yeah, but I
Kind of.
like how that also scales down to our regular year, our vernal equinox, as we go around the sun and the earth is spinning, we enter into those same solstice points.
Hmm.
So it's a fractal nature. It has a fractal nature.
Just like
Those are
this
the
is a big simulation, bro.
yep, big simulation. 6480, that is, let me see. That is G sharp 8 octave. If you want to do some mushrooms and get high to the Platonic months,
That's what we're gonna do.
just pluck G sharp in 432.
Remember, 6480 was the measurement of a dodecahedron. So there's that relationship with the sacred geometry to the great year. This is that image that you and I got stuck on last time, trying to understand what decans were. Uh,
Yeah.
so this kind of lays it out if the folks wanna see this or screenshot it. But you need me to make this bigger?
Yeah, make that bigger. Let me
There you go.
check that out. Look at that. One decan, 10 days. Duration in the Platonic cycle is the great year. The Platonic cycle. Duration in the annual cycle of the sacred year. Okay, that's how they're connected. The sacred year is our time, and the Platonic year cycle is the Zodiac great
Yep.
year cycle.
And they have, and then you have your associated sacred geometric shape
Yeah,
right.
thank you to Randall Carlson for being alive and doing this great work because this is fascinating.
It really is, man. Like, wish more people, we have more experts to kind of source some of this information from in this field. But unfortunately, um, only now are people starting to acknowledge the fact that all these things he's been stating, these relationships that he and Graham Hancock have been pointing out for years, is starting to come out as are being accepted by the mainstream academic community.
Mm-hmm.
And this man has put his entire life into this stuff, where he's actually gone out to these areas where we've had these catastrophic events happen and surveyed the landscape and surveyed what happened, actually put the legwork into this stuff. And
Oh yeah,
for
yeah.
you to have to kind of poo-poo him away and say, "Oh, this doesn't line up with the classical academic um, thought on this subject." So
I love all these
uh,
pictures, man. Keep them coming.
yeah, so this one is the just showing you the relationship of the sacred geometry and the breakdown of the great year. So you have the what is this, the dodecahedron right here, which represents a season. Then you have the icosahedron, which represents sure what representation that is, but
Yeah, it's like a weird portion of.
oh, a month. And then you have the equilateral triangle. You have the forget what this one was called.
So the equilateral the tetrahedron, I think it's
Oh,
called.
tetrahedron.
That's 1/3 of a Platonic month. So 1/3 of the whole age of a constellation, 2,160 years. And then that red one, what's
Yeah,
that?
what's this shape called?
Shit.
I'll tell you. Octahedron.
Octahedron. Okay. Dude, I want to see a UFC fight in a octahedron, not an octagon. I want there to be platforms and they got to jump and get away from each other and they can like elbow from the
Reminds me
top.
of those Royal Rumble matches from like WWE where they'd have like the cage you could jump up. Anyway, they just have it in the octahedron shape.
Yeah,
You
what
climb on like the poles.
that octahedron doesn't seem like it covers 2/3 of a month, Platonic month,
Let's see.
because the
All right, so this is the relationship. Octahedron is two decans. So in the Platonic cycle represents 1,440 years. I don't know, what's 25,920 divided by 1440?
let
Do
me
that in your head, bro. Come on.
pull up my calculator. Shit.
18.
Oh, it's 18.
Hmm.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't know why he highlighted this two decans.
Because that's the Sumerian great year of our year of 360 days with the 5 days extra. One decan is 720 years of the Platonic cycle, or 10 days of our year, or 10 degrees of the ecliptic from Earth, the vernal equinox. Two decans, kapum kap.
It's 36.
Three decans is a cube. See, what confuses me is the sorrow cycle, 3,600 years, 50 days. Why it jumps to 50 days. Like what happened to 40?
Right.
40, 40 decans. But then it skips to 90 and then to 360. But I guess that's based off the Sumerians. Maybe those are their measurements for whatever reason, and he's just summarizing there.
I mean, I know he's basically talking also about like the measurements of different angles on this great year cycle, right? Because you have the 10 degrees is the one decan, 20 degrees is two decans, 30 degrees is three decans. But you're right. I don't know why he skips from 30 to 60. is
What would be 4 decans? 4 times 720 is 0, 8, 2, 8, 80. 2,880. See, that's the 36, that's the 50 degrees of the ecliptic right there.
anyway. We can move on because we're not understanding.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's
I
probably
think
so simple.
we were yeah, and I think we did a better job last episode of talking about this. And I have a
Yeah.
little bit of notes right here about it, like what it's just kind of reiterating what this table's talking about.
Yeah, this refreshing is really a visual thing because you have pictures. So if you're listening,
Just
you
go
know,
listen to the last episode, and then you can look at the pictures from this one. There you go.
yeah.
3 Platonic months equals 2,160 hours or 129,600 minutes. These images we're talking about the period in which the Earth flips on its axis and the seasons would reverse.
You know why 50? You know why
Showing
50 and the Soros cycle?
why. Enlighten me.
It's actually the next in our notes when we talk about Stonehenge.
Okay,
And
cool.
it goes
So,
back to the Vitruvian Man of Da Vinci, and the Pentagon, how he fits inside the hectagon like that,
mhm.
or he fits inside the pentagram. So the man inside the pentagram, and the center of the pentagram is the pentagon, and the Sumerian sorrow cycle of that 50 years. All of that is about 5 and 50. Let me read this here. So if we refresh about, it's in here. Let me read. Stonehenge, the outer ring, like from the outside of the stones,
Mhm.
measures 105.6 feet. That's 1/50th of a mile. The mile being a unit of measurement connected to the human body, because the mile is based off of 1,000 paces, a mill, MILL in Rome. 1,000 paces of 5.28 feet on average. So the mile is based on the human body, which is based on the pentagram and the hectagon or the pentagon. I confuse those, whatever that is. And then that connects to the dodecahedron because it's got the hectagon or the pentagon. What's that one in the middle? Let me clarify that. It's a pentagon, right? That shape in the middle of
Uh,
the pentagram. That's the pentagon, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's the pentagon.
it's pentagon or pentagram, but yeah.
The pentagram is the whole star. The pentagon is the center shape.
Are you talking about this right here?
Yeah, the center of the pentagram, not the
Is that
points. Yeah,
is
just the
that you talking
center
about
shape.
this right here?
Yeah, that's the pentagon.
That is a pentagon. Yes.
Yeah, and then so the pentagon. Oh, look, you got the Vitruvian Man behind it. Perfect. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's how the human body, five fingers, 5 toes, um, represents fucking 1/50th of a mile. Stonehenge, outer ring, 105.6 feet, 1/50th of a mile. The pentagon in the middle has 5 sides. Um, manifestation of the sacred geometry of human body. Yeah, so all that symbology is bundled up in a pentagram and a pentagon and Stonehenge.
Yeah. Stonehenge has a bunch of representations. Like it represents a lot of things.
But I think
Stonehenge, and
that's
we'll get into that too. But Stonehenge also represents like the relationship of the Earth and the Moon. If you look at the
yes.
measurements, it all right. This one's a cool image. Once again, showing you that the rotation. It shows you the vernal equinox. and
Mm-hmm.
that the relationship of the zodiacs.
Yeah, so go back to that vernal equinox. That's an important fractal nature of this whole thing, is because the axis goes through the zodiac in 25,920 years, but our vernal equinox goes through the zodiac every day. And as the Earth moves around the sun, it's in a vernal equinox, and it's in one of those zodiacs for actually one of our months. So you can see how all those different rotations are going through the same zodiac at a different rate. I think that's cool, the fractal nature.
And this is showing you um, basically the time scale of um, the great year, and BP standing for before present, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so remember, we are right here, and this is kind of the progression of the great year thus far. So